Hello, my name is Sam Ragley and I'm a current business student here at Northeastern University. Today, I will be discussing the topic of the AI in its current state, where AI is in the future, and how we can use it to implement in the stock market today. The first thing I would like to share in this video is talking about the current state of AI and kind of circling back to a quote from the 1600s by a French philosopher named René Descartes. Now, you might say they didn't have AI and they didn't even have computers back then, but what they did have was machines, and it was coming around of machines at the time that were scaring people about taking jobs away from people. And I think the quote serves really well to even what AI is today. The quote reads, "If there were machines which bore a resemblance to our bodies and imitated our actions as far as was morally possible to do so, we should always have two very certain tests by which to recognize that, for all that they are not real man. The first is that they could never use speech or other signs as we do when placing our thoughts on record for benefits of others. It never happens that it arranges its speech in various ways in order to reply appropriately to everything that may seem in its presence, as even the lowest type of man can do. And the second difference is that although machines can perform certain things as well or perhaps better than we can, they infallibly fall short in others, by which means we may discover that they did not act from knowledge, but only from the disposition of their organs. From this it follows that it is morally impossible that there should be sufficient diversity in any machine to allow it to act in all the events of life in the same way as our reason causes us to act." That was said in 1649. Reading that kind of brings some questions up. Was Descartes right? Are humans still better than computers? And I would tend to have to say that at the point we're in right now, I would say humans are probably still more efficient than AI can be. And there's obviously AI is better for things like doing calculations, understanding, and sometimes gathering information from what we've put in. But that's the problem. AI cannot come up with new thought at this moment. There's attempts to make AI have original thought. Things like Neuralink AI, which is just kind of connecting pattern of sequences that is resembled after the human brain, but it is not the human brain. And it kind of shows how remarkable we are as a species, but maybe it also shows that AI is kind of behind and there's so much more for us to discover with AI in the current state. To circle back to what we kind of talked about in the current events of AI and where it's heading, it could kind of tie into how we are judging how we use AI to trade stocks and how we can use it to further implement it into finance in general. I would like to discuss the multiple ways you can do this. You can either trade stocks through a pure function that you create and an equation that you create in order for the AI to implement it and execute it without the hands being on at all, and it's doing it purely by itself. Many people have discussed this, and many people have failed, and some people have succeeded. But right now, it mostly seems like it's just pattern recognition. It's nothing more than understanding patterns, which, yes, it can work. Pattern recognition is a way to trade stocks. But there's other outlying factors, like everything going on the news, stocks being terrible, say the interest rate rise. It cannot take, and it cannot adjust to that. And that's the big problem with trading with functions right now with AI. A quote I like to read about AI when I was reading an article about someone was from Maquis the Elder, who was a military Prussian general. It reads, "No plan survives contact with the first enemy." And this was said in the 18th century, and it kind of just makes me think of how an AI stock trading equation would work. Yes, you can make a lot of money, and you would make a lot of money if you implemented it right and had a good amount of luck. But once you start losing, then it's not a good function and not a good equation anymore. Then you're going to start saying that it wasn't a good equation and AI is not suitable for human trading, which has been the case for many times with many people. There are three types of ways I would like to talk about how AI itself can trade. One is quantitative analysis. This would be like coming up with a formula and then using market data and implementing it and letting it do trades for you. The other type of way you could do it is something called high frequency trading, where you do these little smaller trades and you do them in about 1 second or half a second when a price shift happens that's rapid and it buys the stock and then sells it super quickly. Lastly, the last one I would like to talk about is arbitrage strategies. Basically, it compares two different markets. Let's say you have A market and B market. If A market is compared to B market and B market's way too undervalued than A market, the stock or the AI will buy the stock and then adjust from them and say this market is devalued compared to this, and hopefully it makes more money. This one is definitely more of a longer game compared to the other two. Like high frequency trading is supposed to be like that, and then quantitative analysis is really just, it's probably more of a day trade, but arbitrage strategies can be more used in a longer type of setting if that's more of your trading. Overall, I think the best strategy for AI would not to be used in one of these ways where it trades and functions by itself. It's just not suitable for the long run, and once a mistake happens, sometimes these things could blow up and just destroy your whole portfolio because it doesn't know when to stop. A way more safe and sound way to do it is using it for something like sentiment analysis or predictive models, because it's bringing the information to you and it's kind of presenting it to you, but you still have to interpret it a little bit and make your own decisions, which I think is better right now at this point. To not have a robot decide everything for you or an AI bot decide everything for you, but for you to look it over and understand what you're buying or what it is buying or what it wants you to buy. So yeah, I don't think AI is at the point where we can use it fully to trade, but it is useful in certain ways. This is probably the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.